Hello and welcome to the podcast with no name yet. My name is Richard Lester, author of The Checkout. We are sitting here in the world-famous P&H Cafe. My first guest here is Josh McLane, and he is a writer, comedian, musician, screamer, yeller, just about anything else that's you can think of. Say hello, Josh.
Hey, Richard. I love the fact that you called me a writer first. That's very, very nice of you.
I try.
That's very nice of you.
That's how I get the big guests.
Yeah.
Compliment, wine, and dine, and
Anybody who's ever seen my act has never accused me of writing. That's for sure. Any movie I've ever helped make or been a part of or whatever, no one's ever accused me of actually writing. So that's very nice of you. It's very nice of you. This is awesome, dude. Thank you, brother. Thanks for having me, man.
No, this is fun. So we're sitting here at the P&H Cafe, which the whole point of this podcast, which hopefully will become apparent, is talking to creative people around town, sort of in their native environments, or at least places they've played or practiced or
You picked the right
doing.
fucking spot.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
So tell us about the P&H. Why are we here?
Well, I mean, they're nice enough to let us do this here.
Last minute, no less.
Last minute, out of nowhere. Tiffany and Robert here are very, very awesome to everybody, and Matt, the owner. This for me is kind of ground zero, really. Not to make it like it's my place, because now that I don't drink and I'm married, I don't I've turned into a day person in a weird way. I don't really get out very much, but if we do, Karen and I do come out. We come here for dinner pretty regular, and I do comedy here almost every Thursday when they do. They have a great open mic that's been going on now for a couple of years, and they've got a history of P&H is actually the one place that has been nonstop in supporting Memphis comedy now for 10 years, something like that. Like since Brandon started his open mics here fucking years ago. And
so how long have you been doing the comedy?
I've been doing the stand up for, I'd like to say technically it's 7 years, but I'm a part timer. You know what I mean? That's why I don't ever tell anybody I'm a comedian, because I don't hit the road. I don't work at it like I should. You know, I don't there are thousands upon thousands of people. There's a couple fucking people in this town that do the rounds like I do, but do even more than that. That they're definitely comedians before I would say. Brandon Sams, excuse me, Katrina Coleman, and even the younger dudes like Tommy Oler and Benny Elbows who go up any fucking chance they get. And I stopped caring a couple years ago. Really, I tried really, really fucking hard for a while, but my style isn't really conducive to success. It just doesn't. And I learned, and this is gonna sound sappy as shit, but as soon as I met my wife, we were buddies for years, but as soon as we were together, I was like, well, if she wants to go with me, this would be great life, right. You know, kind of a thing. But if she's not coming, there's no fucking way I'm spending 4 hours in a car by myself to go to the middle of fucking nowhere on a real dicey, because my shit's dicey, not meaning it's not like Andrew Dice Clay, but it's not like it's really blue anymore either. It's just, it's very story oriented, and it's really angry.
Right.
It's, you know, I get caught up in the moment, and I try to enjoy myself getting caught up in the moment with something like that. And I get spoiled rotten doing it here all the time because it's right next to an art school. You know, this is the laid back bar that I come to. So it's a like-minded people, and I get real spoiled on that. But a couple years ago, I came to being just really comfortable with that as an artistic outlet for other things, and instead of trying to be Joe Blow, Billy Badass comedian. You know, that being said, I still do out of town stuff here and there, but it's not something I'd ever try and really do anymore.
So when you do, when you go out of town, what kind of places are you playing?
Not a lot comedy wise. I've done Nashville. I went to Jackson this last weekend. You want to hear about that?
Let's hear about Jackson.
Okay, well, there's a place in Jackson called South Street Comedy. And the owners are a really, really cool dude. And the place is a really cool place. It's one of those comedy clubs that's been around for fucking ever. It went through the comedy boom in the 90s and lasted after that, which fucking means something. Because
it's
Memphis
never happened here.
No, Memphis can't keep a comedy club for more than a couple of years.
Yeah.
It hasn't been able to in a long time.
No.
And God bless Sammy Martin for trying every fucking time. There's a new one that's opening up in Cordova, but I feel remiss that I don't know the name of it. But like I've said, I don't really try a whole lot.
No. And next year, by the time this podcast airs, it probably
there you go. Yeah, right.
Won't even be around anymore. So
well, let's hopefully let's not try and be that negative. But so I got to open for a guy named Jason Thompson about a year ago. My comedy mentor, whether he likes it or not, is a guy named Kerry White, who does stuff around here every now and then. And he used to be a big time player, but he ended up, reality kind of hit him. Let's put it that way.
Right.
So anyway, Kerry got me a gig out there a couple months ago, about a year ago, opening up for Jason Thompson. So I got a call back to open up for this lady named Grandmother.
Grandmother.
She's been around forever. Her name's Faye. She is one of the sweetest fucking old ladies. She's just her gig is the whole dirty old lady. The dirty grams, lots of double entendres and stuff like that. Real sweet chick.
How old do you think she is?
86, 87. Oh, yeah, and she tours. She does. Wow. I would imagine she still tours to a certain degree.
She's the king of comedians. She doesn't get lost through the middle of her sets, does she?
No.
Poor BB.
She's a fucking BB. Pro. That was the thing. It's like, anyway, so he's like, it's the late show, you'll do good. You know, I get raunchy, but not really filthy. I cuss a lot, but it's more personal stories where I'm making fun of myself and shit like that than anything else. And I walked in. I wear a suit every time I do comedy if I can get away with it, just because the kind of shit I do, you're less expected. I think it's me trying to play a trick on the audience. You know, if I walk up wearing my CM Punk or my Slayer T-shirt, you know, and I start cussing with my 2 sleeves of tattoos, it's not really going to sink in. But if I try and make a point and I'm wearing a suit, it gets away with it better. Well, this was not the gig to do that. I walk in and it's a packed house, which is awesome. I don't really get nervous about that kind of shit anymore because I'm just along for the ride.
Sure.
That's the cool thing about not really trying to make a huge name for myself or anything about that. It's really every show is the last show.
Right.
To a certain degree. You know what I mean? I really don't think about that kind of shit ahead. And so...
what kind of people are you pointing to? You getting there? I'm rushing the story.
Oh, no. It's fine. It's fine. I walk in, it's packed. And I look around. And I think I'm going to do really well. Because I consider myself kind of, even though I wear a suit and all that stuff, I try and be, I don't like the term, middle of the ground, like a blue-collar dude. I'm a working dude, you know? So, and that's what a big chunk of my comedy is, just about surviving day to day, blah, blah, blah. So I look around and I see this sea of tap-out shirts. And I'm like, this could work.
Yeah.
I'm staying positive.
It could work.
Lots of them and their wives. I do like 10 minutes on just about how much I love my wife, because it's just it's honest. You know, it's way easier for me to be honest about stuff than even to write jokes.
Right.
Like it's you know, I'm saying all this is we're finding out why I don't ever call myself a comedian. I get up and I start my bit, and I have this bit where I go into about how much I like wrestling, right? And I thought, and I guess this is part of me now that I think about it, really as this moment, I guess I was being kind of racist, to a certain degree, because I assumed the people in Jackson would be down for some wrestling, and I meant it in a positive way, but in a weird way, it's kind of oddly racist. I couldn't have been more fucking wrong. I mentioned the first joke I do about wrestling, and some guy from across the room goes, "What are you, some kind of faggot?" And it gets a huge laugh from everybody in the audience, and this is 5 minutes into my set. Like, and I'm up there to do 20 minutes. And I'm like, this is... So I pull out the shit about my wife and blah, 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 and I try and do some the blue-collar service industry stuff. Nobody in service industry in there.
Whoops.
I do a story about my grandmother, about a guy who comes in, doesn't attack her, but starts yelling at her, and yelling at her about something stupid. You're going to have to buy my CD or come see me do stand-up to actually hear the fucking bit. And I get to a point in the story where a guy starts jumping at the car, cussing at my grandmother, and without missing a beat, I hear this dude from across the room go, "Oh, it must have been a nigger." And I was like, fuck. And now the fucked up thing is if I'd have been there with anybody, or maybe been a little taller,
right,
I would have told that motherfucker where to stick it in 7 different ways from Sunday.
Right.
But because I'm by myself, and the guy's like 6'4" and built like a brick shithouse, I don't. And the job, and there's the thing is, when you're an opener, your job is to make it good for the fucking headliner. Now, I try and do showcase shows where there's not really a headliner. People get more time, but I don't like using terms like opener and headliner and stuff like that for shows I try and host. We do a thing here in Memphis called, at the High Tone once a month, called Don't Be Afraid of Comedy Memphis. And I try really hard to not make it. There's not a headliner, blah, blah, blah. Now, granted, it's just always the way you do a show, from, I don't want to say best to worst, but you know what I mean, for worst to best, but like, that's a bad way of putting it. But whoever gets the most time, that's the guy, that's kind of the main dude.
Sure.
But fuck, it's not about him, it's about all of us.
Exactly. Yeah.
But that's my shows. That's a very rare thing in comedy. Very, very fucking rare thing in comedy, apparently. I didn't realize that, really. But your job when you're opening is to make the headliner look good.
Yeah.
Period. Make the crowd, you're still warming everybody the fuck up for the headliner. That's why everybody really is there. No one ever really goes to see the second dude. It's just how it is. And I sure as shit knew nobody was there to fucking see me. So I'm doing my best to keep it going and to try and do it, and I have fucking crashed and burned. But she liked it. Faye thought I was funny as hell.
That's good.
She said, "I would just take you home myself if your big ass Amazon wife wouldn't kick my ass." Quote, end quote. And the owner liked it. He's like, "You did it good. You got a much more solid 20 minutes, man. I'll call you back when we need something else."
Wow. Well,
I got my money and I was gone.
There you go.
You know, so I could let that just fucking eat me inside, and for a while it really bugged me that night.
Right.
Because like in every comedian, I don't give a fuck if they admit it or not. Every comedian wants you to like them.
Sure.
I really, you know what I mean? I don't give a fuck. I can cuss you down the throat, but I still want you to like me.
Well, it's
Or
kind
at
of
least laugh at me. This isn't like wrestling where you can. Now, granted, since I don't do it for money, I have no problem pissing off an entire room when they're being fucking stuck up.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know.
So that's the difference then. If you're getting paid for it, you want the meeting out of your hand. But if you're not getting paid for it, then whatever. Whatever goes on.
Yeah, but in the same, it all depends on where your outlook is too, though. If
Sure.
you're trying to make something of it and trying to build a name in a positive direction, all that eating, fucking, chewing up crowds isn't going to do you any good. It's not going to get you any gigs. It's very, very rare someone who can chew up a crowd and still be funny.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's very fucking rare. There's a lot of people who think they're like Don fucking Rickles and can just rip people apart. And it's so... I did it for like a year and a half, and the only reason I could get away with it is because I looked like I was having a fucking stroke every time. I get exasperated, so to speak, and...
Well, how competitive is Memphis comedy? I mean, is it a more...
Well, you're kind of
familial?
asking the wrong guy, because I don't give a shit. I don't
Right.
pay attention to anything like that. You know what I mean? It gets like that, I see, but like the difference being now there's all kinds of people doing mics and shows. Like we're at kind of this weird indie boom here lately. Hopefully it'll last, of where there's like, let's go through the list here. Mondays, Popper Lounge. It's Tuesdays, somewhere else. Maybe there's one Tuesdays. If there is, I'm sorry, I don't know. Wednesdays is at Clicks at a pool hall, which is mainly a black crowd, but they are fucking awesome.
Oh, I've been there.
Awesome,
plenty of times,
dude.
yeah.
Dude, I went, and other people were like, well, you be careful there. Don't ever, dude. I fucking destroyed in that fucking place. Thursdays here, P&H. Then, like, I think there's 2 on Sunday. Brandon Sams has one with Nathan Hiller at Newbies on Sundays. And, like, there's another one in Friday in Bartlett that I don't know about. But, I mean, there's all kinds of shit to do now. And since there's a whole bunch of shows, you're not fighting for... Used to be at one point when Mondays up here, when Brandon was hosting it up here, people would get so angry. They get really feisty when it came to fucking times and shit. But I fucking worked here at the same time, so I didn't give a fuck. I would get up here and scream at everybody for 10 minutes, try and save their souls, because I have this weird theory that I have to be... If I'm not gonna if I have any juice, if you're listening at all, you have to kind of take something from it. You have to learn something, or it's sappy as fuck. And me saying it out loud sounds so fucking pretentious, but it's the fucking truth. So half the reason I wear the suits because I feel like a bullshit street preacher.
Right.
You know what I mean? You got to impart something nowadays. Anyway, but it would get angry. It would get fucked up, but I would do 10 minutes up here and cuss everybody and then be cleaning their ashtrays 30 minutes later. You know what I mean? Which really humbles a person, too.
Sure,
as soon as I get up there and think I got everybody in for the palm of my hand, I cuss this fucking asshole out, tell him da-da-da, fuck your mother. 10 minutes later, I'm like, you need another beer?
Well...
You know, and that's it.
But I think you've definitely made your position here, though, because you recently just opened for Doug Stanhope at the New Daisy, right?
Well, let's be perfectly honest. The reason I got asked for that show is A, I know I'm not going to fuck up a crowd.
Right.
But B, I worked in that fucking place for years, and I've met Doug Stanhope a couple times.
Right.
By no means is it just because you know who's hot? Josh is hot. Let's fucking get him up on stage. You know what I mean? And I owe Mike Glenn and his son Mikey at the Daisy for the rest of my life, because if that for me is the high watermark of my comedy career, I'm happier than a pig dipped in shit.
Right.
Like, that was the... Fuck, man, I can't even put it into words. Like, last time, I was lucky enough, I did me, Christopher Moore, and Ansel Jones, AJ, had a live-action karaoke band at Stop 345, like 7 years, a long fucking time ago.
It's been almost 10 years
It's been
ago.
almost 10 fucking years ago. Goddamn, and we used to do live-action karaoke.
Yeah.
And Stanhope came in town and asked us to play music at one of his sets. We got paid in comedy. We didn't really get paid money. We got paid in beer and free shows.
Right.
So when Stanhope came in, Chris Walker, the former guy who ran that place, was all like, Josh, trust me, I know you need to come see Doug Stanhope. So I came the very first show on, did he do a Thursday show? No, just a Friday one, because he did Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And he did a Friday show, and I saw that first Friday show was like, I stayed for the second Friday show. I came to both the shows on fucking Saturday, and I got lucky enough Saturday, he asked us to play background music for him on the Sunday gig, which was just god awful.
I think that's the show I was at, right?
Yeah, that's the one you were at. Oh, yeah.
So let's talk about that show for a second, because I have told that story ever since that day. That's been, like I said, almost 10 years ago, and I still have people cracking up over that story. It was a train wreck upon a train wreck.
Oh.
But it was...
Weeds in the parking lot.
It was the best.
It was the best.
It was really funny. I remember sitting there and seeing this drunken woman with her thong hanging out, sitting at the bar for hours before, about an hour before the gig. Nobody knew who she was, and she was hanging with Mose Alexander. And eventually, she comes up and she goes, "Hey, everybody, come and see the show." And we go, "All right, well, how much is it?" And she smirks and says, "It's free," and turns around and flaunts herself, walks into the room. And eventually, I believe she passed out on a table. She knocked over some beers. She humped Mose on the stage.
While Doug was on set doing his set.
While he was doing it. And I just remember
with 3 idiots behind him playing background jazz, playing the same fucking 4 chords over and over and over. Because that's all we knew.
I just remember the best part, though. I just remember poor Stanhope thought, like, he was crescendoing into this great, rant. And he hits the top of it. And everybody starts laughing. And he thinks it's because of him, and it's because his wife has fallen over, passed out drunk on a table. And he made references to several other substances and what could be done about her.
Yeah.
And eventually she was carried backstage, I think, and passed out on the green room couch.
Yeah, that was a fun night. That was fucking surreal, because that was like you said, it was and for me it was like the end of a really crazy weekend.
Oh yeah.
Of knowing about this dude, because I did my best to not fanboy the fuck out of him once I saw him, because I was in love with him. I mean, if you've ever seen my stand-up, it's obvious.
Oh right.
I'm a big Doug Stanhope guy. You know what I mean? It's like Doug Stanhope and Bill Hicks. You know what I mean? There's a bunch of other people, Louis C.K. and Richard Pryor and all the usual name-dropping motherfuckers.
Right.
But, that's, Stanhope's the guy, I've never seen anybody get that fucked up and still be fucking amazing. And from what I understand from other professional comedians, that's his, he's known for that. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, nobody can turn and burn like that motherfucker.
Well, I think I did another show with him, went to another show. I was working for a cigarette company at the time, and we sponsored a show that has 2 of them, and they were just as fucked up and crazy as the first ones, which is, that is no small feat. So
that's not easy to do.
2 rounds of fantastic stories from him. In fact, he even took mushrooms on stage as, quote, in honor of somebody giving them to him.
Yep.
Which is amazing.
I think it was my friend Justin, actually.
Because at one point this weird couple got on stage, a guy that looked like the singer of the Cramps and his religious wife, and prayed for him on the stage, and I always wondered if that was set up before.
Well, it's funny you say that. That wasn't. Only because I've heard about that later. But when we were having our show, when I was getting to open for Doug Stanhope, I'm only gonna be able to say this a couple more times before I feel like an asshole, so I'm gonna enjoy it.
It's on tape now.
He was on stage, and this chick came up and asked him a question about some religious bullshit from 10 years, from a set he did 10 fucking years ago, and he refused to pay her attention. He just stopped and was like, "I'm not talking to you. I'm not talking to you. We're not bringing it up now. No, you need to go. You need to go." And then she left, and then he's all like, "I'm not giving the fucking satisfaction about that." It's and then he told me afterwards, he's like, "I thought everybody'd think it was a plan because it was so timed."
Oh,
he had just finished a bit, and she was just kind of being polite. She came up and waited for him to stop, waited for a beat, and she came in, and it was fucking retarded, dude.
That's what is it about him that drags the crazies out? I mean,
everybody who's got, you know what I mean, when anybody who speaks truth is gonna fucking make some zealots, you know what I mean,
right.
and that kind of horse shit. I mean, I've gotten my share of, I'm not even saying that because that makes me sound like I'm putting myself up with him, but when you piss people off, you piss people off,
right?
And especially we're in a society, in a world where everybody thinks they're deserved their minute of fame. Sure. That was as close to fame as that bitch is ever gonna get. Yeah. You know what I mean? That was her moment, stopping an entire room, a packed house. Let me say that, at the fucking dude. Everybody that came to that show, I will never get another crowd that perfect.
Right.
For me ever again, dude. Those people came downtown on Beale Street, which is a pain in the ass in the first place. Unless you like going downtown to Beale Street, it's not something a lot of people, unless you're down for it, you don't really like doing.
Right.
During Africa in April, which means there was a whole parade thing going on and all kinds of food vendors right next door. And there was a baseball game. There was a Redbirds game.
Oh, right.
So that was packed as shit down there, right? And they were showing the playoffs from the Grizzlies on the screen at the fucking FedEx Forum.
Oh, yeah.
So, all right, and still 210, something like that, people came down to the Daisy to see Doug Stanhope. Those motherfuckers were so ready to laugh.
That's true.
It's not even funny. Those guys were and it's for Doug Stanhope. You have to be about as cool as it fucking gets to really want to go through all that.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm going to take some credit in getting some of those guys there from all the stories I've told about them.
Yeah, there you go.
That's why I go. When he shows up in town, whenever I go, I'm just hoping that something crazy is going to happen again, because I mean, why not?
You know, I bet at this point he's fucking tired of that shit.
I can't. I'm sure he is.
It'd be nice to get through one goddamn set with some motherfucker saying some shit.
He's gotta be.
Just one, or maybe that would weird him out. You know what I mean? Almost like, is it going to get really bad after? What the fuck's going on?
Well, I saw him at the short-lived club out in Bartlett a few years ago.
Comedy, Tennessee.
Yeah, and as far as I remember, nothing really happened there. It was pretty straightforward. So.
I mean, this one, that was that one little thing, and then he got on. I mean, like, apparently we got his old lady Bingo stands in the back and writes down a bunch of his stuff. When she hears jokes that he just coming off the top of his head, she writes them down so he remembers them. That's where I picked up. I knew she did that a long time ago. That's where I picked up. I record almost every set I do.
Oh, okay.
Because I go off the cuff all the fucking time. I mean, usually it's all like literally, I'm gonna go in with I'm gonna talk about us going horseback riding last weekend. That was crazy, and man, going to the store this morning, that blew. Fuck it, I'll find something. You know what I mean?
How much prep do you do before you go on?
Oh, I write almost every. I write, I would say 70% new material every week when I do it, just because I get really tired. I throw shit away. Yeah. A lot of my stuff's topical, too.
Okay.
And you can't keep topical. You know what I mean? The joke you do about Nancy Pelosi, well, it's a dated fucking reference. You do that, there you go. It just dates it right fucking there. You know what I mean? So you can't really, you just got, and I like, it keeps like I said, I'm not trying to build anything, so why the fuck keep something unless it's just gangbusters?
Sure,
There's no fucking point. But yeah, dude, that place with Stanhope was, fuck, dude. All I had to do was be genuine. That's all anybody wanted in that crowd was to be genuine. I came out there and just fucking did what I did. Barely stayed to script. Didn't talk about three things. Skipped all kinds of fucking jokes, but didn't lose a beat. Yeah. It was great. That and it was being on the Daisy stage. I mean, I worked there for forever.
Sure, yeah.
You know, and when we were kids, when we were kids, it was Barristers, that place, and then the Coliseum. That's where you went. You played Barristers until you had 100 people. You played the Daisy until you could pack over 1,000, and then by that point, hopefully, you'd moved on to some serious shit.
Exactly. Yeah. So speaking of the Daisy and playing those stages and everything, not only do you do comedy, you're involved in it in several bands, right? Or
a couple.
Yeah. So tell me about the music stuff.
Well, like now, let's see, at right this second, how you and I know each other.
Right.
We'll back it up a little bit. When we first met, I was in a band called Imprint, a rap metal band.
Right.
And had a crush on this guy named Josh Gilchrist.
Oh, yeah.
And
as do we all.
As do we all, you know. And then I ended up having a crush on him, and then Ship, and then Ship's brother, and then AJ, and it was just turned into a big old homo fest until Josh's wedding, when he ended up, their drummer didn't show up. I ended up playing drums for Mrs. Fletcher, and that's where we all were. And so I did that for years and years. And I guarantee you'll have at least one of those assholes on this podcast before it's over with.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
And then now I was in a band called Oracle No Mountain for a really long time. I'm name dropping all these because it's all available on iTunes.
There you go.
And as of right now, I'm in a band called Special Agent Cooper that we've been doing that for like 7-8 years, like off and on. We'll take breaks and then write 6 songs and then take big breaks, but that's really nice, instrumentally Frank Zappa type shit.
Yeah.
And right now I'm in a band called Hombres. Okay. That's the main focus, with a guy named Christopher Moore and Brendan Whalen, a talented singer-songwriter guy from here in town, and Garrett Metz.
So what's going on with the Hombres?
It is the most relaxed band I've ever been in my entire life.
Wow.
It's a very weird kind of thing because we have a huge age difference. There's me and Beeve. We're both like 35, 38-ish. And then there's Brendan and Garrett, and they're both like 25 to 27, somewhere around there. So there's like this huge 10-year gap.
Right.
But God damn, it makes for some fun shit because they get excited about shit that we're like, oh God, really? And then vice versa though. You know what I mean? It works like we have a rule that is there's no such thing as a bad riff. You know what I mean? So it's mainly just to make sure nobody feels like a pussy for having an idea. Like absolutely, I got to write a motherfucking song with this. You know what I mean? I'm the fucking drummer, and there's like riffs are totally fucking open, and with that comes this like nice, just breeze. Practice is fucking easy. We all hang out. We all I think the reason we all really love each other is that when we all first started hanging out, I put us in a group text.
Yeah.
To just so we, even before we started practicing and shit, just so we could all start bullshitting with each other. It helps create a bond, even for people who don't know each other. And Brendan comes in one day. I was talking about something. He goes, "Man, do you ever watch wrestling?" And I was like, "Why are you asking?" Because I don't want to get fucked with or something. And he's like, "Well, I was watching Raw the other night, and I was like, oh, fuck, you like it too!" And what we found out is all 4 of us had been going around like little cokeheads.
Right.
When like we were all drug addicts in the band, but we didn't tell anybody else in the band. But we were all secretly big fucking wrestling nerds. And let me tell you, brother, wow.
Yeah. Let me tell you, brother.
When there is nothing uncooler than being fucking wrestling fans. We're all metal guys, right? We're all prog rock metal guys.
Right.
And like even in our circle of like black shirt wearing, cigarette smoking, drinking dudes, being into wrestling is a very small percentage of people that think it's cool in any way, shape, or form. And like once we found that, it's like this really weird bond that nobody else has, that nobody fucking gets us. And it's got to be similar to like when you're at the beginning of some kind of music movement or something like that, or you're the head of something, where you're just like, dude, you guys are the only three dudes. This is so fucking badass. Sooner or later, people are going to fucking get it. I don't really give a fuck if anybody gets it anymore. I kind of like the fact that it's just us.
So what's the difference between doing music and comedy?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Absolutely nothing. Well, comedy's on my shoulders.
Right.
Band stuff I can rely on. I can come up with something and everybody else can make it cool, whereas on stage I make my personality have to make up for the fact of my bad ideas.
Right.
And, but really other than that, nothing.
Yeah.
It's the exact, I really wish I'd have figured that out a long time ago, but it's the exact same. The movies and the news shows and stuff, I do that with Stanley Justice and the stand-up comedy and the bands. It's all the same fucking feeling. Once I figured that out, that's where it all became fun.
Right.
Which sucks for my wife because it's just I do a lot of shit.
Yeah.
I do a lot of shit. My wife does a lot of shit too, but man, if I could just bring in money, she wouldn't care. As soon as I can make some of these pay, she doesn't mind me working on the script, but goddamn, if that script could sell even just a little bit,
yep,
that would be nice.
That's all of us, I think.
Yeah. Oh yeah, totally, right?
Yeah. So you're also in the movie stuff too, right?
Yeah, I do stuff with my partner Eric Huber, and I have a thing called Stanley Justice Productions, and we had a show called Don't Be Afraid of the News that was on the internet for a while. We just started doing that one again. We make shorts, and we're working on a full length. Hopefully for next year.
Wow.
Of course, we've been saying that for a while now, but that's
that's
the funny thing about when you see movies, when you see other local art, you get up to a point like, yeah, we're ready to do this, and you see one, and then you see one you love or you really, really hate. You're kind of like, okay, we're gonna wait. Yeah. Because if you really love it, you're like, oh god, it's not that good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
But, or you see one that you hate, and you're like, oh, we had a couple of those same mistakes.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like I went and saw a movie called Lights, Camera, Bullshit last night. It was the casting premiere. It's not out yet, so don't try and go fucking looking for it. But it was phenomenal, and it was still really rough, but it was really good. And I'm not even talking about the fact that that Hombres had a song in it, and I had a 3-second part as a cameo as a news correspondent. But still, the movie itself was like, I didn't check my phone once, and that's really good for me because I am a fidgety motherfucker. But
that's why we're not doing a video podcast.
Yeah, right. Oh, dude, it'd be so bad. I'd be sitting there tapping the whole fucking time. But yeah, I saw that and I was just like, okay. As soon as I went home, I was like, well, I gotta go over that script again because I got some serious tightening up to do, that kind of thing.
I think
that's
we all kind of do that though.
Oh yeah. I mean, hopefully.
And that's that's one of the points of doing this podcast too, is the fact that it seems like a lot of us, especially in this community, we all have our projects, we all kind of get involved in it, and we don't talk as much to each other about what we're doing.
Well,
sometimes.
I personally think that, and I'm sure this is the same across the world, but it seems Memphis is pretty bad about people who all they do is talk about what they're going to do.
Oh, that's true.
And now it's one thing talking to another, inviting them in to being like, hey, hey, you know what? You're not doing nothing this weekend. Would you like to be in this, or would you like to help me work out this scene? You know what I mean? And not even like, come help me rewrite the whole script, but hey, you mind sitting down with a cup of coffee and doing this, and I'll buy dinner? If you help me out with this scene, that kind of thing. That would be awesome if that happened more. But this town is fucking full. I mean, we're in the town that spawned Craig Brewer, which is awesome.
Right.
And he's a fucking really cool dude. But when you have a town that's not used to having a successful filmmaker come out of it, everybody it's like when Saliva hit. Everybody and their mother thought they were the next professional thing.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's kind of the same way with the movie stuff. There's a bunch of really, really awesome filmmakers here in town. There's a bunch of real fucking people who all they do is run their mouths about it, and they make one thing every now and then live off that for forever.
Right.
Or do their best to bring it up every chance they get.
And then there's also the people that everybody wants to be a writer-director of everything. Nobody really wants to be the sound guy. Nobody wants to be the grip.
Nobody wants to suck up. But no one, and I wish I'd have taken more advantage of it early on. You know, because you do your rounds on everything.
Right.
You know what I mean? You move up the ladder, because once you've done sound for a long time for a certain group, they're not going to make you be that asshole that does it all the time unless that's what you're into. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You'll get a chance to do something else. Or you'll be all like, okay, now I know how to do all these fucking things. I don't need any of you assholes. I'm going to go make my own shit on my own.
Yeah.
I have a friend, Tyler Hildebrand. I'm saying that rough, saying he's my friend. He's this guy I really fucking look up to, that my friend that Eric Huber introduced me to. And he gets a brainstorm about a movie, sits down over a weekend, writes the fucking script, calls a couple people, and goes and makes the fucking movie just to fucking do it.
Yeah.
And it's all he's learning. Every one he does gets better and fucking better and fucking better, till out of nowhere, I guarantee you, some asshole's going to see one of those random things he shot over a couple weeks, and it's going to fucking get him a job or something, some kind of gig. And on top of that, he's the coolest son of a bitch you'd ever meet, dude. He's like 6'3", built like a brick shit house, and is the nicest guy ever. Meaning he can scare the piss out of anybody fucking with you.
Right.
But would never do anything to harm a fly until you fuck with. Oh, dude.
Well, you need to take him to Jackson next time.
Yeah, right? God, if I'd had somebody if I'd had anybody in the crowd, that would have been. See, that's the thing is, I'm glad that didn't happen, because I would have ran my mouth, and I probably would have. The headliner would have had to make up that kind of distance.
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean? I may not have been asked back. So, you know, there's something to be said for just sucking it up and swallowing the load. And hoping the next time you don't have to suck the dick. Maybe next time I just get to fondle the balls, and the next time I won't have to do fucking anything.
There you go.
Next time, then you start getting paid for it.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So, what's next for you?
More of the same, man. We do a Thursday night comedy show that we're trying to do my part to help Memphis comedy, since it's been so good to me. So not every Thursday, once the first of every month at the High Tone, we have a Don't Be Afraid of Comedy Memphis. Eric Huber and I do, where I pick different comics that I like and give them a more than usual amount of time, from 15 to 30 minutes.
Yeah. It's
like an hour and a half long, so it's at 8 o'clock every time, so you can come in and get the fuck out. You'll be home by 10, no matter what. And hopefully that'll evolve into a little more stuff, because we're talking about wanting to do a live Don't Be Afraid of the News there, which is the news show I do on YouTube, and that would be. I always wanted to be Johnny Carson.
Exactly. Who
that would be the closest thing. We did a Christmas special a while back, but to be able to do it with a live audience would be the coolest fucking thing. Ever. Hombres just we're recording our record right now. We're gonna be on Terra Comedy's first live show next weekend for Rocket Science Audio. That'll be kind of cool. And Karen and I are gonna try and make a baby.
Oh wow.
Yeah, we had the discussion, I guess, as her going, baby, promise you.
Oh.
It was way prettier than that, but it's basically that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's why I'm trying to do everything I possibly can before that happens, to get as much shit in the can before I put it in her can.
There
you know
you
what
go.
I mean? Before it knocks like that. So, but yeah, that's the idea. Try and stay positive. It's easier said than done, but
So if people want to find out more about what you're doing, what's going on, your bands, your comedy, where can they go on the internets for that?
It's all over the internets. It's all Facebook pages for the Don't Be Afraid of Comedy Memphis, Don't Be Afraid of the Dark, Don't Be Afraid of the Dark's the podcast I do every now and then. Sadly, not very often. And man, no fucking time, dude.
I understand.
I enjoy sitting down and watching music documentaries, and hours upon that show Luther, that kind of shit.
I know.
Any Anthony Bourdain I can find. But check it all out there. StanleyJusticeProductions.com. That would be the main one to do, because Eric Huber's made that website fucking unbelievably top notch.
That's awesome.
And what the fuck are you doing now? You got another book coming? I know you do.
No, actually, I've got the one book out right now to check out. I've been working on short films around. We just had a short film called Shelby Stacks play at the Time Warp Drive-In.
Nice. Oh, nice. Okay, I didn't know you had something to do with that. That's awesome.
I recorded the sound and did a couple other things. I operated the hell out of a fog machine.
Nice. There's an art to it. Coming from an old rap metal guy, there's an art to a fog machine.
It took a few takes, but we got it. And
nice.
Then working on a few scripts and really trying to put out, next weekend and the weekend after that, got hired to work on a short film.
Hey, all right. Hey. Look at you.
So, yeah,
nice.
Trying to live the dream in between that Monday through Friday.
Hell yeah. Well, thanks for having me, dude.
Man, it was good seeing you, and we'll put some links up to everything, and, so on the page. And, all right. When the Hombres comes out, let me know. We'll do this again, talk all about that.
Fucking A right, dude.
Yes, sir.
You need a tagline out.
That will be edited in post.
And this was The Checkout.
Exactly.